Hey.
All right. Now call the city council regular meeting to order for September the 12th, 6 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Stay with me. Father, we thank you for this evening. Lord, we just invite you to this meeting tonight, Father. Lord, we ask for your wisdom tonight. Lord, we ask that the will be done, Father. Ask you to be with everyone in this room, everyone in this country, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember McGuire. Here. Councilmember McCure. Here. Councilmember Taylor. Here. Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, items 4 and 5 will be removed. Neither of those presenters will be here. And they've asked for that to be removed. So moving on to the consent agenda, we have the consent agenda. This would encompass the June 7th City Council special meeting, the August 8th, 2022 City Council special meeting, the August 15th City Council special meeting, and the August 29th City Council regular meeting. Do we have a motion to approve consent agenda?
Yes, I make a motion. We approve consent agenda number C6, all minutes.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions or changes on any of those? Quite a bit of information there.
The one,
Seeing, go ahead.
sorry, the one for June 7th, are we not gonna do that one? Or that one later?
This includes all of those.
Oh,
So if you
okay,
have
okay.
anything
I
on
just
that
didn't
one,
hear
bring
that
it up
one.
now.
No.
Okay. All right, seeing no questions or changes, moving on to the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember McCure.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor. Yes. Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes,
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 7, we have the second reading. This will be a public hearing for ordinance number 14-2022 and 15-2022.
So ordinance amending the future land use map of the city of Avon Park, Florida, amending one parcel of land consisting of plus or minus 1.30 acres, generally located east of US 27, north of West Bell Street at the southeast corner of intersection of South Anoka Avenue and Dial Street. Address being 915 Dial Street, from future land use of low density residential to city medium density residential, transmitting said amendment to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity for notification purposes only, providing for severability, provide for an effect for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Did you get them both there, Jerry?
Huh?
That was both.
Oh, you want to read them both?
Might as well.
Okay, there's an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Avon Park, Florida, amending one parcel of land consisting of plus or minus 1.3 acres, generally located east of the US 27, north of West Bell Street at the southeast corner of intersection of South Anoka Avenue and Dial Street. Address being 915 Dial Street, from the zoning of R1A, low density residential, to R2, medium density, single family attached and duplex, providing for severability, providing for conflict, providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. Don't have anyone from CFRPC here tonight. Jeff
Good-
Schmucker.
Yep. Good evening, all. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes, we can.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, we do have a brief overview. If you all would like to see it, I can give that to you verbally. I've heard the city attorney read both the land use and the zoning into record. Essentially, this is a request to go from low density residential, single family zoning to a medium density residential with an R2 zoning for duplexes. The property owner applicant is looking to reestablish the recorded platted lots of record on this property to allow for duplexes, which will essentially be single family attached units. Unfortunately, the current zoning does not allow for the development of duplexes. So that is essentially the reason for the amendment of the land use in the zoning to the R2. Ultimately, the product that'll be built on the site will still essentially be single family units. They'll just be attached. So there'll be single buildings with a unit on either side of the property line. There is one property that'll face Anoka That will be one parcel, and it'll have one structure with 2 units on it if they do choose to go that direction. But I think at this time, the applicant is still deciding whether or not to go the duplex route or potentially just to develop that site with a single-family home. So ultimately, the property will allow for a total of 8 dwelling units across all of the recorded platted lots that are existing today. So with that, we'll answer any questions you all have on that.
Okay. Staff have any questions for Jeff? Seeing none, this is a second reading, so this will be a public hearing. I'll go ahead and open public hearing for ordinance number 14-2022 is now open. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this can now do so. Going once, going twice, no takers. Public hearing for ordinance number 14-2022 is now closed. Open the public hearing for ordinance number 15-2022. Anyone from the public wishing to speak can now do so. Again, seeing no hands. Public hearing for ordinance number 15-2022 is now closed. I'll ask again, does council have any questions for Jeff on any of these rezoning ordinances?
No.
Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I have a motion, we approve ordinance number 14-2022 as well as item 15-2022.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Next up, we will have a public hearing for resolution 2022-20. This is establishing and imposing fire rescue assessments. We have Chief Marcy here to brief us. If we have any questions? You have
Yeah.
anything?
I don't really have anything new to add. This is just a public hearing. If you guys got any questions, I can try to answer.
All right, so in your packet, you have the old rates, you have the proposed rates. This would be a finance department question as well. Do we have anything for Melody on this? Currently, we have the proposed rate here at $140 per dwelling unit, as well as the accompanying per square foot of the other uses. Anything you'd like to add, Melody? You approve of this resolution here
Yes, and it's actually, our budget is based on the new rates,
at the 140?
correct?
I'll ask again if council has any questions for staff on this. Okay. So this is a public hearing. Public hearing for resolution 2022-20 is now open. Anyone from the audience wishing to speak can now do so. Seeing no hands, nobody jumping up and down. The public hearing for resolution 2022-20 is now closed. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2022-20, please.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Ma'am, did you have your hand up out there? All right, if you want to ask a question, we'll have to get you up here to this microphone and please give a name and an address for the record.
I live in Sebring. I'm just doing a little bit of cross-referencing as a citizen generally of Highlands County. I've been here for a long time.
Yes,
Te-
ma'am.
I was a teacher in Highlands County, in Lake Placid High School for 14 years.
And what is
I
your
was-
name?
My name is Andy Hammett.
Andy Ham, okay, and you have a residence at location?
I live in Fairmont Mobile Estates and it's hard to get any
Okay.
questions answered in Sebring.
Got it.
Leave it at that.
What
Anyway.
can we do for you?
All right, so and on top of the area where I live, it's kind of shady, the spot where I live. I live at Fairmont Mobile Estates. And we are part of the city of Sebring. It kind of dips way out.
Okay,
And we've been left that way for a very long time. Anyway, it's a really humble community and I love it. It's independent. and it's a lower socioeconomic area. It's a really quiet. There's a lot of people in it that may not pay attention to what's going on in the news
Okay,
and here and there, whatever. But I just want to make sure we're not getting shoveled around for this, that, the other as a nice high point area to put in some individuals that we're not aware of that are being put into our location that we're not quite too sure of why and how and whatever. But I wanted to ask one question and I'll leave it at this because you guys doing your thing. Says the assessments will be collected on the ad valorem tax bill to be mailed November 2022 by the Highlands County Tax Collector as authorized by section 197.3 to 632 Florida statutes. Failure to pay the assessments will cause a tax certificate to be issued against the property, which may result in a loss of title. The assessment is to be an annual charge. It's a newbie thing. Well, this situation is not only am I getting hit with property tax this year, I'm getting hit with this. I am not on a disabilities by any way, shape, or form. I pay my own bills. I pay everything. I don't get one penny. I don't have health insurance. I'm in this on my own. I feel like my job as a citizen is to take the burden off of the government and do my best to pay my own bills
Mhm.
and live simple as much as I can. But I'm getting hit with this and I'm wondering what this means. If it says that if I somehow or other refuse or for whatever reasons, I know there's tax payment, we can get on tax payment schedules. I understand that.
sure.
Mr. Notlich shared that with me. But if it says your property may result in a loss of title, I would like some clarification. What exactly is a title? Sounds
Okay.
like something you have on a car. But what kind of title would be applied to my house if it's considered a parcel that was,
Well, nothing that
uh,
happens inside the city of Avon Park would apply to your property at all because you're not in Avon Park.
well, I realize that I'm looking at your situation right here. And this is the same thing in Sebring
Yep.
too. But what is your description of what does it mean to have a title?
Yep. Jerry, do you want to?
Yeah, the title of the house means that you would lose ownership of it. Okay, if you lose title, you don't own it. Okay,
So essentially it's like not paying your taxes.
Right. Yeah, if you didn't pay the tax.
So-
then-
So if you really say essentially, so if you live within the city parameters, you have not only you pay county taxes, you pay city taxes as well.
That's
Correct.
right.
Special assessment,
That's right.
pay for fire rescue. Thank you. That's what I need to know. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, we already have called the roll. We'll move on to item number 9. This will be a discussion for draft airport budget and overview. Melody.
Yes, sir. The airport budget, would you mind bringing that up, David? Is the only portion of the budget that we have not gone over yet, so we can quickly go over. The airport revenues are budgeted to come in at $3.6 million. We have within the airport budget, we have rents and royalties, which total 255,000. And within the rents and royalties, we have maintenance fees. Let me get there. So maintenance fees are budgeted at 11,000. Tie down and apron fees are budgeted at 1,000. Hangar rentals are budgeted at 175,000. The industrial building revenue is budgeted at 80,000. The ramp rental is budgeted at $1,000. This year, we have some intergovernmental revenue. We have the FAA grants. So there is the FAA apron grant for 2.4 million with a 267,000 DOT share. And we also have the AIP grant budgeted at 432,000. We have fuel sales totaling $205,000. Aviation fuel comes in at 130. Jet fuel comes in at 75,000. Other miscellaneous revenues come in at 51, and those include penalties of $10,000, property taxes of $40,000, and miscellaneous revenues of $1,000. Expenses, we have aviation fuel, which comes in at 125,000. Jet fuel comes in at 70,000. Professional services is at 120, which would be the Florida Airport Management. Accounting and auditing is budgeted at 5,000. Other contractual is budgeted at 5,000. Communication services is budgeted at 4. Electricity, 15,000. Water, 5,000. Our property insurance, 70,000. Repairs and maintenance of 25,000. Property taxes at 75,000. I don't think that is correct. The operating supplies, I'm gonna have to look at that. So our total airport expenses come in at almost $3.7 million. So if there's, I know I went through that pretty quick. If there's any questions on the airport.
Okay, do we have any questions on the airport budget?
Melody, you did talk to FAMS.
I did talk to FAM. They presented a budget to us, but it really is their internal budget. So they're taking the revenues they're getting from us of 120 and divvying it up between their salaries and their, the expenses that they think they will have out there.
Okay. All right. Did they contribute anything to any of the future, like our airport CIP or anything like that? Have they kind of put some of their?
No, the only thing that I'm aware of is they put the 40,000 towards the AIP application.
I see. Okay.
And I
Last
think
call for
they're-
questions.
I'm sorry, they're looking to get grants, but that's.
Right. Last call for questions. Seeing none.
Okay, so the last slide in here is actually the Exhibit A, which is what is going to be passed tonight with the millage rate based on the 4.3681, which is what council voted on in August at the August meeting. So your total budget for fiscal year 22-23 is $43,668,640. Your, excuse me, your general fund comes in at $14.7 million. Infrastructure is almost 5.6 million. The CRAs is 1.2 million. The water sewer fund is 16.1 million. The airport fund is 3.6 million, and the solid waste fund is right around 2 million.
Okay. Looking for questions.
Did you repeat what the total budget's gonna be?
It's $43,668,640.
If there's no questions,
I have a question.
okay,
Maybe
go ahead.
it's just me. I see airport budget on here for property taxes twice. Am I seeing things or?
One is a revenue and one is an expense.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I see it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
ahead.
On the budget part, back where the graphs are. The penalties, where you are allowing $10,000 for penalties, what kind of penalties does that include?
That's gonna be late fees or NSF charges, that kind of thing. If you don't pay your rent on time,
Oh,
there's a penalty.
okay.
So we're done with the airport budget and we're moving on to the public hearing of resolution 2022-24. This will be the proposed millage rate. Melody already briefed us on this briefly.
This is a resolution of the city of Avon Park of Highlands County, Florida, adopting the tentative levying of ad valorem taxes for the city of Avon Park, Highlands County for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, providing for an effective date.
Yeah, as I said, this will be a public hearing. A public hearing for resolution 2022-24 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on the proposed millage rate can now do so. Seeing no takers. Public hearing for resolution 2022-24 is now closed. Again, I'll ask if council has any questions on the proposed millage rate. Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve resolution.
2022-24.
That's the one. Thank you.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Item number 11, this will be resolution 2022-25.
It's a resolution of the city of Avon Park, Highlands County, Florida, adopting a tentative budget for fiscal year 2022, 2023, providing an effective date.
Okay, Melody, do you have any briefing on this?
This will just pass the tentative budget per trim policy.
Okay. I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for resolution 2022-25. Anyone wishing to speak on this can now do so. Seeing no hands, public hearing for resolution number 22-25 is now closed. Again, I'll ask if the council has any questions.
Nope.
Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 2022-25, please.
Do we have a second?
Second. Oh, go ahead.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-22, this will be Fred Connor Street, Avon Park Road Assistance State Funded Grant.
It's a resolution of the city council of Avon Park, Florida, providing for approval of grant agreement and specific maintenance requirements, authorizing signature by mayor or deputy mayor, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, staff want to brief us on what this grant is all about?
Yeah, in March of 2021, the city submitted a grant it's an FDOT grant for to resurface Fred Connor Road from West Carolina Avenue to East Memorial Drive. The total project cost is $69,196, and it is 100% funded by the grant. So this is just approving that we accept the money.
Okay, do we have any questions about this resolution?
Not at all.
I have one.
Go
How
ahead.
often can you apply for FDOT grant for the roads?
For these small community outreach programs, you can actually have more than one at a time. We actually have one coming up in next year for Anoka Road for around $360,000 to resurface Anoka Road.
Is that from north to south, the whole thing?
It goes from Block Street down to WL Kirkland.
Okay, so obviously, this is not a state road, it's a city road. So we're using DOT funds to fix our city roads, which is obviously a good thing. What is the limit on what we can apply for and what we cannot apply for?
I'm not sure of the answer to that. We, Rick and David and I are participating in some meetings with the county and DOT to see what we can apply for in the future. So.
I would just simply ask that we maximize that as much as possible.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions on resolution 22-22? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
I can make a motion, we approve resolution 2022-22, please.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Please call a roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Next, we have resolution 2022-23.
Yeah, so this is resolution basically approving the third amendment of the policies and procedures considering code enforcement lien reductions. The last meeting, you directed me to remove hard costs from lien reductions. I believe that was already in there, but I made it very clear under section 2 there. You see that it's hard costs are not going to be included in any reduction. Those have to be paid regardless. There was also the issue I just wanted to point out that was raised by the one person seeking reduction, that they had not seen this on the title because apparently they didn't get title work done. There's also a provision in here that says if they don't get title insurance or review title, that's basically their tough luck. Just wanted to point that out. That's under section 7.
Which is a general rule of thumb for all property purchases.
Right. Exactly. And, I just also, I'm not saying this person's doing it, but it also removes the possibility that somebody could make a deal with the person that they're buying the property from, and say, okay, when I get paid, when I get this reduced, I'll give you this much more or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can't believe anybody would be that dishonest, but I'm being cynical. I'm sorry. There were a few other minor changes that I made to this since I was already into it. One of them is that I made it so that we didn't have to have the special magistrate absent in order for the code enforcement director to go ahead and bring something to you, because it may be a more complicated case and he wants to have directed by you and have me there at it. So I removed that so we could get that done. And a few other small procedural changes. So that's it.
Any questions?
I'll read the resolution.
I just had one question. A property owner who has a lien on their property, can they apply for a lien reduction? The only reason I'm confused by is one of these says that it says any lien resulting from a fine, or never mind, I'm sorry. All violations on all properties owned by the violator has to be in continuous compliance for at least 3 months. But then if you go down to number 6, it says new owners who are family members are not eligible for a lien reduction.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering why the violator could have a lien reduction, but not a family member who takes over the property.
Yeah, because it was close transactions like that. Basically it's usually kind of a scam, but I mean, you can change that if you wish and allow them to do it. But that what happens is they try to go to a different person and they have some relationship with that person, family member, whatever,
Right.
extended family. And it really is just a way to avoid the lien, say, oh, look, I bought this thing and now it's, I'm
Right.
stuck with this lien.
My only issue, I'm just remembering the one lady that came that she was taking over her father's property.
Mhm.
It's almost like if we're willing to give the violator a reduction, why wouldn't we be willing to give their family members the same reduction? Not an additional reduction, but the
Especially a
same.
deceased member, family member.
Right.
I think her dad died, right?
So long as they also meet the, that everything's been brought into compliance for at least 3
Right.
months.
Yeah.
Stipulation.
Well, I don't see why you couldn't do that. I'll make that change if you want to make that your motion.
Is anyone opposed to that change?
Oh, well,
Right.
my thing was, I can understand the actual owner. I know why you did it for the actual owner, but I didn't understand, like, say for instance, if the owner is deceased and the family member wanted to, well, they took over the property. That was my concern. If the person, the original owner is deceased and now the family member, took over the property.
Yeah.
I would have thought that we would have gave it to them.
I think it's a fair point. It's a fair point. I mean, we can let that be used.
But other than that, I think you did a great job. I went over and over it, and you went in there and you put a lot of things that we have problems coming before us,
Thank you.
and you took care of all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll make that change to 6. If you want to include that in your motion.
Do you want to make that motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2022-23 with said changes.
Okay, Jerry, I did notice that we haven't actually read it into the record yet.
Yeah, we did. That's what I said earlier. Yeah. A resolution of the City Council of Avon Park, Florida, amending lien reduction policies and procedures to include clarifying that all hard costs are not part of the lien reduction policy and providing for the city council to hear large code enforcement lien reduction requests for finding of fact regardless of whether the special magistrate is available, provide for an effective date.
Okay, Councilwoman McGuire, do you still wish to make that motion with said changes?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any last questions? Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 14, this will be the FAA Apron Rehabilitation Construction Grant.
Yes, you have before you a grant agreement from the FAA for the reconstruction of taxiway F, which will include a full depth pavement reconstruction and asphalt pavement rejuvenation in the amount of $2,673,740 is the total project cost. The FAA grant amount is $2,406,366. And FDOT share will be $267,374.
Okay. Any questions about this grant? Seeing, go ahead. Okay. Jerry, do they also need to approve me signing this grant or?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay.
And if you're absent, then the vice mayor. or
Okay.
mayor pro tem.
And if I could just add one other thing, it's, excuse me, Mayor, it's going to be an electronic signature. So you should already have that in your email.
I do,
So,
just waiting until
yeah,
this passes.
and then Jerry, it'll go to your email and then you'll approve it also.
Okay,
And it's very time sensitive because it's got to be done by the 15th or we'll lose it.
well, please remind me
Okay,
if it's in my email, because I'm trying to catch up on my emails. It's stacked up pretty good far.
okay.
I'll
Okay.
be happy to get it done immediately.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the FAA Apron Rehabilitation Grant?
So move.
We have a second as well? Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Item number 15, this will be the AIP Due Diligence Grant. Miss Melody again.
Yes, so it is with great pleasure that we can say that the FAA has awarded us $432,000 for a portion for a portion of the AIP due diligence grant. They actually are not happy with the scope of services that we submitted, so we're working, we have a meeting tomorrow to work out some of the details on that. But this one will also be in your email for approval and go to Jerry for final approval.
I'm not sure if everyone is aware of all of the extra work that our staff had to do and the time sensitive things goals that they had to meet, but they were given quite a bit of work first thing in the morning, had to be done by that afternoon. So I just want to thank you guys again for staying dedicated and getting everything done on time. So thanks.
Amen.
All right, any questions about this due diligence grant?
Nope. Over here.
It's also worth noting that we did find out that we can indeed go back and ask for more money if it exceeds this grant amount, right?
That's correct. Next fiscal year.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve D15 for the AIP due diligence grant.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes.
Mayor Anderson,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Item number 16, we have the reappointment of board members to the CRA Advisory Board. Christian, I see your name.
Yay. So on this one, back in May 2021, which was before I was here, the official bylaws for the CRA Advisory Board was approved. During which, we realized today or this week that, or you know what I'm trying to say, I'm nervous. that the expiration dates for the CRA Advisory Board are the end of this month. So we'd like to request that they be reappointed as we've had no applicants.
All right, just scrolling through here till I can get the list of names. I guess we could just simply make a motion for all would encompass it. So do we have any questions about the reappointments? Seeing none, do we have a motion about the reappointments?
Make a motion, we approve item number D16 for all three appointment members on the motion. Advisory board.
Do we have a second? I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember McCure,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
No.
Deputy Mayor Bernard,
Yes,
Mayor Anderson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Councilwoman Taylor, I noticed that you had a no vote there. I was curious if there was something that you would have liked to have seen or.
Well, now that you mention it, I don't know, maybe I think we should have that board reorganized. I mean, have some new members in, even though we don't. Maybe it should have been tabled or something, and we should go out and scout for some new members. They've been on this board for a long time. And we've been doing it to the other boards.
Yeah, so all I'll say on it is, the zoning board issue that's obviously familiar with, it's been coming up. That to me, was the second most important board. I would say this one's probably the third. So it's definitely pretty high on the priority list. In this particular case, we really had zero time to work because we were going to be up the creek here if we didn't reappoint these members because we don't have a functioning board as of in, 3 days. So we would have no board at all. So we'd have had to, possibly wait 60, 90 days before we could get enough applicants to fill this board. But I think you're on the right track. I think all of our boards, no matter how big or small, should always be looked at and be scrutinized for, make sure that we have the most qualified people there, make sure that they're attending the meetings. I think right now we have quite a bit to fill still with our zoning board. So it's my intention fully to go through every single board until all of our boards are 100% full with the most qualified people that we can possibly find that are dedicated to that cause of whatever that board stands for. So I'm with you.
So are we gonna revisit it later?
That would be my intention, is to take one board at a time. Right now we're still working on the zoning and I think it'll probably still be a few months before we get everything squared away and then just keep on moving down the line.
this is one board. It's also short a couple of members, isn't it?
This board does have vacancies, yep.
We have one position full-time, we have 3 alternates open. And can I
Sure.
add to this, seeing I get the pleasure of sitting in all these other meetings other than this one. I hear what Bernice is saying, but you have got some good people on there that want to do good for the city. They want to spend money. They want to help people.
Yep.
So I understand what she's saying, but you've got some good people on that board who really want to do some good and helps the city.
And on that note, there was very little action with our CRAs in general. We really didn't see much of anything for years. Everything kind of got put into one board rather than having the separate boards. And at that time, a lot of these members that are there now got put on that board. And I will say, this is one of the only boards that has actually exceeded their expectations. If you'll remember our last CRA meeting that we had, we expended all the funds, which was the point, because it was something that we were never able to do before. The funds kept stacking up in reserves because we didn't have enough applicants for all these facade grants and et cetera, et cetera. So this is the one time that I can remember in recent memory that they actually did expend all the funds far before the end of the year.
Well,
So
let me ask you this, Mayor.
Mhm.
Wasn't they the same member on the board? The reason why we never exhausted the funds, wasn't they some of the same members?
No, I mean,
No?
obviously some of
I
the
mean,
names.
yeah, because we haven't had any new CRA members on that board for a minute there.
No, whenever everything got combined into one board, there were several new members that were put on. And we can find out the exact names, but
I can add to that.
sure.
They had no guidance. They now have some guidance and we're working as a team between the city staff and them and council.
Sure.
So yes, most of them probably were there, but they'll admit they had no guidance. What's it can do with the funds? Jerry helps on that outside helps on that, but working together as a team has really changed things. And like, they're really gung ho and want to do a lot more this year to help some of the citizens with the slum and the blight, and also they want to help the city do some things. So they're doing a jam up job. One of them's volunteered to go out here and actually inspect the houses before you approve them, whether the house falling down before you paint it, on his own, who's also a contractor, so he knows what he's doing.
Thank you, Mr. Hayden.
And volunteered to do that until we can find somebody to hire to do that. So like I said, I understand what you're saying. That's why I had Chrissy put in there, show the attendance of the people here. It's only fair to do it for just for every board. But they're a jam up board to work for staff, I can tell you that.
I just
Sure.
got this to say, Mayor. One of the things that stands out to me is the reason why the funds set there. I can hear the gripe, the concerns and the complaints from the south side that when it was 3 grants, we approved it, to move it to 5. When it was 3, you wanted them to come out of their pockets to pay and then have them reimbursed.
Yep.
They felt like if they could come out their pocket and pay, what they need you for? This went on for years with them same people on their board. And the minute we raised it to 5 and told them that they didn't have to pay anymore, oh, we exhausted all the funds.
Okay.
And
Also-
everybody wondering why all of a sudden we exhausted all the funds. That was one of the main reasons we
I
exhausted.
don't think anyone's wondering why.
I think one of the comments I like to make too is that these existing members also increased the budget on both the south side and the Main Street CRA, so there will be more grants available for next year. So I give them a lot of credit. I don't think all those members have been on there more than 3 years, to be honest with you. But I think some of them are new. But I've been going to the meetings as a liaison, and I think they do a fantastic job. And I think that they're part of the reasons why we're able to go ahead and give out the grants and the resident doesn't have to pay the money up front that we pay directly to the contractor. And if it wasn't for their assistance in helping us help prove that, that was exactly the problem it was. But so with the fact is they are the group that actually got it started, and members of this council are the ones that actually voted for it too. So I think that they deserve a good line of credit. And I also think that there are some openings, and there'll probably be some openings down the line too. I think they deserve credit where it's deserved.
The 2 openings for the airport, they've been vacant for quite a while, haven't they?
Yes, sir.
Has it been over a year?
Well, I haven't been here a year yet and it was vacant when I arrived.
Okay. So is that actively posted on our website constantly?
Yes, sir. And I've also made posts on Facebook as well, which got a lot of shares.
Okay. So that might be something maybe we want to look at if no one from the airport. It is kind of could you just simply spell out the requirements to be on the airport advisory report? Do you have to have a airplane out there? What is the actual requirement to be a airplane?
You have to be leasing out there.
Okay.
That's why Bill Jarrett had to leave there, and he's on Main Street now.
Right.
And so we have probably maybe 50 people that are on that list of potential applicants, right?
Yeah, and some of them don't even live here, so.
Right. So perhaps in the future, we want to look at maybe changing that a bit, and maybe if they reside in a certain circle over there, or just expand it so that we can actually have more applicants, because if all we have is 50 possible people, over half of them probably don't even live in Avon Park anyway. The other half just want to have an airplane. They don't want to be on a board, right? So, we need to expand our net a little bit. All right.
So the position that's actually open, there's 2 for the airport and 1 alternate, right? And that's all?
There's 3 alternate positions and 1 vacancy, which was Dr. Danzy's position.
So the lady who was here last week or the week before, Miss Wade, I think her name is. that was
Laura
on-
Wade, yeah.
Yeah, she was trying to get on the P and Z board. Would she be interested in this one?
I can reach out to her.
She would probably qualify as an alternate, but she wouldn't qualify for the airport, which is
Right.
the
Correct.
only
No, not the
vacancy,
airport,
right?
the-
Correct.
That's the only one.
Yeah, so the only vacancy is the airport, and
No,
you'd have to be
no.
leasing out there.
So I mean, I could reach out to her to see if she wants to be an alternate for Main Street. Since
Yeah.
she's a business owner on Main
Mhm.
Street.
Okay. All right. Have we called the roll on this one?
Oh, no vote.
Well,
Yes, sir.
you just
Yes.
questioned her as to why she. said
That's
that.
right, that's right.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. All right, any staff updates or attorney updates? Seeing none, city manager updates?
Yeah, you've got in front of you, but I've added some and I'll go out of order. Just you'd ask us to reach out to the current P and Z board members, see if anybody wanted to step down so we could appoint Laura, and we got hold of everybody and then they said no, you want to stay on.
Okay,
The FAA, you've covered that, the Reader's Digest version of several days of working, and Lowell and Melody did a lot of work. JT was involved, we got them involved, and we got, as you said, a lot of stuff done in the 16 hours. They put us under the gun, but it was done. Good things came out of it through it all. I've developed good rapport with the assistant manager in Orlando, who has given me her cell number. We've talked several times and she's guaranteed us she will see this through with her staff. She's got a good staff together, and let's see, come December, I think it was December 2 years ago when I first got the call about FAM wanting to go out there. So almost 2 years have gone by, and this is the best rapport we've had with the FAA, especially with the local office. So things are going good. And as the mayor brought up, we were told at first the most we get is the 432,000 when we really need for all the scopes about 724, I think it is. But their regional office or headquarters also has agreed that we can put in for the remainder of it after October 1st. So that's really good news. As Melody said, they approved everything except for the scope of work for the engineer, and it's nothing we did wrong. When I talked to the assistant manager, they admit they've never done this before in the whole FAA. This is a whole new thing you're going to be doing out here. Hopefully when it gets done and FAM has the long lease out there. So they've reached out to another airport that's doing something similar. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Melody and I, with Lowell and engineer from Kimley Horn, are going to be on a Zoom type call with them, and they're going to tell us what they found out and what they think the scope ought to be. So it's kind of learning on both sides. Lowell said they'll probably write their book after this one, so they'll know for the next one. But just for me on a personal thing, this is the best I felt moving finally forward with us, that we've actually got someone listening to us up there and realizing kind of what they've put the city through for the last 2 years. So it's good there. And like I said, FAM, JT's been involved the whole time and actually helped out on some things. Next one I got is code enforcement officer certifications, and I'll let Randy cover that. Randy?
Recent overview is for certification, there are 4 levels of certification in code. Each one requires 40 hours of training. You have to pass a state test, which is, I've taken a lot of college, and those tests are as hard as anything I've taken in college. Anyways, a requirement to work here as a code officer is you have to get your level 1, which is the fundamentals, within a year of taking a position. I'm happy to say that Officer Ferrante and Officer Salinas just recently passed level 1. They just got the results about 2 weeks ago. And I took level 3, which was legal aspects of code. I was lucky enough to pass that. So I've got 2 levels of the 4. I really don't see a need to take the other 2. One of them is officer safety, which I've got plenty of experience in that. Plus the other one is public speaking. I've done a lot of that as well. So as far as them needing anything else, they do not need anything else for the requirements of the job, but that'll be something that maybe when we put evaluation time, it's something to strive for, to take at least the legal aspect one of it, and certainly the officer safety one. But both of them had law enforcement experience prior, so that helps.
Excellent.
So as far as I know, this is the first time we've ever had the entire department actually certified code officers. So very proud of them.
Excellent.
I just wanted to say, I think it's great to get not everybody's certified, but you might want to consider rather than having a mandate that they have to be certified in order to work for you. The statute doesn't require that. But you might want like a trainee position, just in case you get, too many cases to handle, or something happens personnel wise where you're, low on people, you can hire somebody who's outside, has done it, has got experience or something like that.
Right,
Yeah, it just temporarily, because it allows you even to hire temporary people. So
Yeah, that's-
statutorily.
Yeah, actually, we put in the job description, anybody heard it, full-time has a year to pass it or they're out of here. And you
Okay.
need to be certified. So, and with that, that's why I wanted Randy to cover it. Just let you know, when there's certifications, people ought to have them. I found out collection distribution guys, there's a certification for that. The only person certified in the city right now is Rick. Well, that's going to change because the two guys just got promoted. That's one of their things. They have to be within a year. And then we're going to work on is C&D guys out there, the certification. It's good for the city. It's good for them. So anyways, we're working on certifications, and like Randy said, they worked hard to get theirs. And if Randy had to work that hard to pass that test, we might want to take his officer safety, but
It's excellent. And I totally agree. I was just making a point with regard to.
no, and I appreciate you put that out. And Randy, if I talk about that, if things get really busy like they may here soon, that we may have to find some part-time. So we appreciate that. I put in there the renewal of the interlocal agreement for Headfield. And I put in there, Jerry said council didn't need to take any action because the way it was written, all they had to do was ask for it. And we've got their letter. Finally, the first one got lost in the mail, and then an email never got me, but we finally got that. So I wanted you to have that. And actually, especially for those of you who haven't seen the agreement, it's there for your reading pleasure. Also, we got the letter from FDEP about our city's yard waste disposal facility is in compliance. We're back using it. And I know I had brought that up. We weren't using it because we had a fire out there that wouldn't go out, and then kind of things went down. And now we've got, once we can hire somebody after October 1st, about if somebody working out there to keep it that way. But we passed that, so I want to pass that on. And now a big one, if you'd pick what day you're gonna be trick or treating for Halloween, because people are calling Chrissy every day. So as I put on there, Halloween falls on the 31st, it's on a Sunday this year, so.
Well, all I can tell you is I know in the past, we always did it on a Saturday. So I don't know what the rest of the council feels like, but I'd like to hear other opinions.
What did the callers have to say?
They were just asking, we do have one that is planning on doing like a trunk or treat at Donaldson Park, which I'm working on getting the event paperwork. So that's how the first conversation, and then just random citizens calling, hey, do you have that scheduled yet? No, I don't. And we
Okay.
get the point from there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion whether Saturday or Sunday, whatever, so. Anybody have any opinions on it? Okay,
There used to be, there used to be a regular Halloween party almost for the whole city to go on North Lake Avenue. All those
right.
homes used to participate, and they would start at the church because they always had truck or treat there, also First Baptist. And then there'd be thousands of them going up and down Lake Avenue. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think over the last year or two since COVID, things might have slowed down a little bit. I don't get out and trick or treat anymore, so I really don't know how many people are out there.
It's very surprising.
I'm afraid I'd scare too many people, but
You wouldn't even have to dress up.
and now.
Just kidding,
Can I
brother.
have that gavel, please? But like I said, it doesn't matter to me. All I can say is we always had it on Saturday. Didn't matter what day it was, just because it made it easier for the people to get their kids out. And then they also would have time to get up and go to church on Sunday. So, and then if they have it on Sunday, which is October 31st this year, then obviously could be out a little bit late before they school the next day. So I'm just throwing it out there. Nobody's called me and said they please do it on Saturday again. So I think I'll leave it up to the rest of y'all.
You sold me, Jim. Saturday it is. Anybody opposed? Okay, we don't need a vote for that, right?
Just what hours is it?
Usually say, see no objection.
Okay,
It's usually 6 to 8. I think that's what we did.
6 to 8?
6 to 9.
6 to 9?
I think that's fine. I don't.
I think 6 to 9, at least we know it'll be dark and Have at least an hour after dark at 9. So, okay. So seeing no opposition, Halloween celebration this year will be the 30th, which is a Saturday from 6 PM to 9 PM.
I'll make sure I put it online and on Facebook.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anything else for the city manager report?
Yep, about 3 more.
Okay.
Casey Wall got a hold of me the other day in an email. Remember last year we had the jet ski
Mhm.
races with Procross? And then we had heard that, well, the lake's too small. Well, it's not too small. They want to come back.
Excellent.
I asked Casey, she said, I heard the same thing, but they really like the venue. They like to come back. It'd be in April. They're asking for another $10,000 for the advertisement marketing like last year. So I put that on for the CRA advisory board next month. And, so sound good. She said they really want to come back. So
Excellent.
that's good
Does the
news.
TDC give them money too for advertising outside the area?
Yeah, they're gonna do the half again.
Yeah, okay.
I just remind you that these types of events are not bricks and mortar. CRA funds are generally supposed to be spent for bricks and mortar. I did send a memo to everybody a couple of years ago on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
The job description for that CRA employee, has that been finalized and put out yet or no?
No,
Okay. Any expected time when that'll be put out?
well, he gave me 30 days, so. it's
Okay.
unfortunate. No, I just talked to Chrissy this morning on it and to get the ones that she has and ask her to look for some other ones too, and
So-
then I'll sit down and put them together.
I went over what I did have. They were more of the director side of it. So I sent word out to the other city clerks, hey, if you have anything that's more for a coordinator, please send that out to me. So I'm just waiting on those responses.
Okay. Well, to Jerry, the reason why I bring it up is to Jerry's point, the memo that he had sent to us, and he's preached from the mountaintops many times on this subject, but the only way to kind of make things a little bit better is if you have someone that can actually talk to all the businesses and say, did you have an increase in traffic? And they can actually document that we did benefit bricks and mortar. So if we have a person that works for the CRA, perhaps they could also do that, and we would be in full compliance there.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I passed on the mayor last week when he was signing checks. We had 17 new home permits, and then this morning we have 27, right, Randy? More now?
You want me to?
Sure.
Excellent. Keep them coming.
As of August 1st, I've taken in 29 new home permits. Breakdown of those, if you care. I took down 20 of them are the Lake Damon. The Grand Oaks and Lake Damon at the end of Gaster Road, the new development, well, the old development that's now a new development. Lake Bird Shores, which has recently been annexed into the city. 5 of those are in there. 2 from Twin Lakes, which is at the end of Gaster Road, the one that Southern Homes developed. 1 on Williams Gray Court. They're demoing a house and then they're gonna build another one. And the last one, Mr. Garganis did one in Oaks Village. So that equals a 29. Basically houses, with the exception of 1, average between 1,500 square feet under air and 2,400 square feet. A lot of these are close to the $300,000. Some a little bit more, but everywhere from 250 to 350.
Awesome.
So they're definitely workforce housing. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We got 10 today, as a matter of fact. That's what brought this up so quick.
Excellent.
Yeah, actually, I'm sure people saw the article in the newspaper a week or so ago about that Avon Park was in the top 10 list of cities to move to. And I think the study was more or less related to their percentage of people moving into Avon Park compared to those that are moving out. So that I think that's a great thing for us, because I know sometimes we haven't been near the top of the list, but I'm grateful that people are moving to Avon Park. And ones I've talked to a few of them recently, and they all seem to be very happy and glad, and they think I have a neighbor that's only been in less than a year, and he seemed very happy he moved here. He feels like he's in a very safe city, so he loves it, Avon Park.
Yep. Yeah, we recently, obviously with the election going on, going out knocking on doors, talking to people. And I was pretty shocked to find out that literally half of the people that I actually got to speak to had just moved here within the past year.
Yep.
So I would have never thought it would be that high. Typically, you might find one or two in the course of a day, but it was literally half the people I talked to have been here less than a year, some a few months, some a year, so.
I did
And-
I did the same too.
Yeah, and,
I was
and
shocked.
all different kinds of lines of work as well. Some medical, some retirees, some Nucor, talked to a couple from Nucor, so it was a good thing for sure. Very encouraging. You have anything else?
Yep, last one. You listening up, Barry? The NASGRAS lawnmower racing, which takes place out at the airports on airport property. Their lease agreement ran out a year ago in July. Some of it was COVID, and then it was, thought FAM would be out there by now, so we weren't gonna renew anything. It came to my attention Friday, and I called JT and I said, have you seen them out there? And he said, well, I haven't seen them racing, but they're in an RV out there. So I drove out. I met with Christine and her husband, Wes, who run it. They were getting ready to have a race that night, and I let them know that they didn't have an agreement. And anyways, whether I had to be the bad guy or not, I couldn't allow them to operate out there without an agreement with the city. Too much liability on the city. But I did tell her that I talked to Jerry earlier, and I just gave him a copy of it. I told her that maybe we could do a month with her out there until FAM gets the lease, because FAM's looking at that property possibly for other things. So I'm gonna bring that tonight if we can get a consensus for Jerry to move forward and work on a month.
Yeah, so long as they fulfill their requirements for insurance and things like that, I don't think it's a bad thing at all to have a month. Obviously, the intention for any airport is for it to be airport use. But if you don't have another company that's needing to occupy that space, it's going to be in manufacturing or otherwise airport use, then continue on as we have it, as long as they hold up their end of the bargain.
Okay.
Any other opinions on that?
Since that agreement's so old, we'll probably have some other provisions the state has blessed us with that we'll have to add to it as well.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Missed this. What happened to item 5 and 6?
Yeah, so the people who were requested to put that on, they had retracted their request.
Back to 4 and 5.
Yep.
Item 4 will be on your next agenda.
Okay. Anything else in the city manager report?
Nope.
Anything else for the good of the city? Yes, sir.
I'd just like to point out that the article about Avon Park was preceded by a radio article of the same information, indicating Avon Park was number 3 behind Sarasota and Tarpon Springs. So just want to let you know that who had it first.
We appreciate that very much. You have something?
State my name,
Yes, sir.
Jeff Williams, 1210 State Road 64 West.
What can we do for you?
Sir,
What can we do for you?
oh, well, thank you for allowing me to come speak with you tonight. I just want to say to the board and to Mr. Schrader and his staff, thank you very much for working so hard on getting those grants completed with JT and our team, Michael Powell. I think they're doing an incredible job, and I'm just excited more than I ever have been before. You said it earlier about feeling that good feeling about where we're going now. I feel better than I have,
Yep.
a lot better than I had 20 months ago. So I just want to give you a thank you from me personally and in FAM.
Well, I fully agree with you, and thank you very much for the kind words.
Thank you, Jeff.
Just for the record, the previous speaker was Mr. Barry Foster from the Cohan Radio Network. All right, anything else for the good of the city? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.
Thank you.